So Esmeralda is one of the hardest heroes to kill right now. Actually, there are a lot of heroes nowadays that are really hard to take down, and almost all of them are sustain heroes. In this game, I used her to counter the enemy lineup. I was able to counter Freya and Chang'e because they both have shields, which Esmeralda can ignore, and actually absorb for herself. So if there are enemies with shields, you might want to use Esmeralda to counter them, especially against Hanabi. Don't hesitate to pick Esmeralda if the enemy has Hanabi, and make sure to make her life miserable to the point she won't want to use Hanabi again, or she'll end up banning Esmeralda every single game. Esmeralda is a natural counter to Hanabi. No matter what you build on Hanabi, she's useless against Esmeralda. And the funny part is, players still use Aegis even when there's an Esmeralda on the enemy team. And they even build Rose Gold Meteor. So Esmeralda really feasts when there's a Hanabi on the opposing side. Although, honestly, almost any hero can counter Hanabi. I mean, that hero is just really weak. Esmeralda is really good to use right now, usually as a counter pick against certain enemies. Or if you see that the enemy team doesn't have burst damage or HP-based damage like in this game, that's the perfect time to use Esmeralda or any other sustain hero like Uranus. The enemies had a hard time killing me here. I think only the turret could take me down in this match. That made a huge difference because I was able to give my teammates a lot of space to move and farm freely. It's just up to them whether they can make the most out of it. But you really have to hope they do, because at the end of the day, sustained heroes like Esmeralda can't carry games alone. They still depend on their teammates, especially in the late game. In this part, I actually got trapped under the enemy's turret. I tanked a lot of damage from both the turret and the enemies, but I still managed to survive thanks to Kalea and Esmeralda's shield and spell vamp. She's really relevant in the current meta, because she can counter a lot of EXP lane heroes. Here, my teammates were taking the Lord while I was zoning the 3 enemies, and Freya was pushing in the bottom lane. I focused on zoning out Alucard since he was the enemy team's retribution holder. But suddenly, my 3 teammates got killed right away. Good thing I managed to bring Alucard's HP down and kept zoning the enemies to stop them from taking the Lord. And eventually, our Barat still managed to secure it. Her shield from the first skill is a huge advantage, and it also gives her some mobility. Even though her main source of sustain comes from her shields, she also has a bit of spell vamp, which makes her even harder to kill. And in the next game after this, I'll try using her as a roamer to see how effective she can be in that role. Earlier, I couldn't kill Chang'e because she was staying under the turret, and my damage wasn't enough to take her down since I was using a tank build in this game. Good thing that before the match ended, Chang'e overextended while trying to split push. Unfortunately for her, I was right there to put an end to her plans. Even the jungle creeps nowadays suddenly start using emojis out of nowhere. Your build pattern is really important. In that match, I was up against Freya in lane, and their jungler was Alucard. So prioritizing Dreadnought armor was definitely a good idea. So in this game, I used her as a roamer. A lot of viewers were wondering why the turret didn't hit me. Well, it's probably because it was still loading. The turret only starts attacking once it gets its gold plate, which happens around the 22-second mark, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure if you heard it from me first, but I've known about this for a long time. It's just that most heroes are too slow to reach it in time, unless you're trolling with Fanny, which I actually do sometimes. But you know, it's important to understand this mechanic. I do it so that the enemy gets vision on me early, and when I meet the enemy roamer, I end up getting gold and EXP while they don't, since the turret had already given me vision first. It's also a good trick to quickly reach the enemy's purple buff and check the position of their jungler. After giving vision to the enemy and getting the gold and EXP, go back immediately to the mid lane and help your mage clear the wave so you can also get gold and EXP from the minions. After that, head straight to your jungler and help them until the jungle creep dies so you can get more EXP and gold again. So we already know that if a non-jungler gets the last hit on the buff, the full EXP, gold, and the buff itself still go to the jungler. What I don't know, though, is whether the jungler's retribution still gains a stack if their teammate lands the last hit instead. Can someone let us know in the comments section? I'd really appreciate it if someone could clarify that. When your jungler is Fredrin, his farming is quite slow in the early game, and the enemy shouldn't be allowed to invade him. That's why what I did earlier against the enemies was a huge help. It gave our Fredrin free space to farm safely. The enemies didn't bother him at all because I was the one disrupting their jungler, and they reacted to me instead. It was totally worth it, since our Fredrin was strong and really made the most out of the space I created. The only problem was our Layla. She was really playing poorly and making bad decisions. Imagine, I already gave her vision showing where Hayabusa would rotate first, yet she still didn't play safe. A lot of people also asked in my last video how I managed to reach level 4 before the first turtle fight. Well, what I mentioned earlier plays a big part in that, but most of the time, it's still not enough. You'll usually end up just a few EXP short of level 4. To make sure you reach level 4 early, it's very important to take at least one EXP crab. That makes a huge difference for roamers. I just hope EXP laners start realizing that, because most of them nowadays are greedy and don't want to share. An EXP laner can still reach level 4 even without the crab. I don't get why many don't realize that it's more worth it to give the EXP crab to the roamer. I even have to compete with my own EXP laner just to get that crab and hit level 4. But anyway, make sure to still help your EXP laner clear the minion wave before the turtle fight so they can rotate faster, and you'll also get EXP from the minions, which hopefully helps you reach level 4 in time. But obviously that wasn't my rotation in this game. I helped our Layla instead, mainly to prevent the enemy marksman from snowballing. You see, I stayed in the gold lane most of the time because our marksman was really weak and needed constant help until she got her full build. If I left her even once, she'd definitely die. Oh well, she won't die here since she's alone in the bot lane. Her enemies are elsewhere, and we're giving her plenty of space. She can freely farm now, and later on she'll just free hit in team fights. That's basically her whole playstyle. If she can't free hit, she's trash. But you should take note that she can only free hit if her frontliners are doing a good job, or if the enemies aren't smart enough to focus her first. Fredrin was really strong in this game. He was one-hitting those squishy enemies, but later on it was Layla's turn to start one-hitting the opponents. Just wait for it, because she's about to one-hit Grok next. Esmeralda is surprisingly good as a roamer. She can actually create a lot of space for her teammates and sustain damage really well. This is the kind of roamer that's effective even without crowd control, as long as you can tank the enemy's damage. What makes her even better is that she has natural regeneration, so she doesn't need to go back to base every time her HP drops to half. That saves a lot of time, which you can instead use to provide vision or help other lanes. She also pairs really well with Fredrin here, since Fredrin practically has unlimited CC. And because Esmeralda lacks crowd control, he's such a perfect teammate for her. Both of them are tanky and can sustain damage really well. And whenever Fredrin's ultimate is available, he's literally one-shotting enemies with it. The enemy Valor was actually amazed and even typed in the chat. Because of that, our Fredrin got flattered and lost focus on the game, which led to his death. Compliments really do jinx people most of the time.
Itching for a little discipline.
See how I took 92% of the enemy team's total damage but still stayed at full HP? Well, that's something Esmeralda can easily do. I have a few sustained heroes in mind that are similar to Esmeralda, and I'm excited to try them out as roamers to see what they can do, and whether they're actually good or not. But if I may ask you, what do you think about this Esmeralda roamer? Do you think it's good? I personally think it works even better if your mage is someone who can provide continuous slows or consistent damage. That kind of setup would really complement a Fredrin jungler and an Esmeralda roamer combo. This is the emblem build I used on her. So if anyone still asks in the comments section what emblem I used, we'll know they didn't watch the whole video. They're just here for that specific info.